Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to pariomagazine.com.au. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, where we watch, and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator, Jam Yaps. Each week I'll be joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists their favourite movie as American Psycho and favourite TV show as Peaky Blinders. Welcome back to the show, Blake Robinson.
Welcome back to the show, Jam Yaps. Thank you for having me.
You went to the Grand Prix, yeah?
I went to the Grand Prix in Melbourne. Yeah, it was incredible. A lot of people there. I'll say
it was what? It was 400,000 over the 4 days or something.
It was insane, man. It was insane. It was pretty undercatered too.
Oh,
I just don't think they were prepared for the amount of people.
Yeah, I think they were probably expecting
bar lines, food lines, just biblical. Yeah,
they were probably expecting like what they used to get, and then because everyone was like, "No, I'm keen to get to this," it was just
everyone had ants in their pants. It was sick event though. Recommend watching live Formula One racing to anyone. Yeah, it was good fun. Perfect weather. Boring race. What more could you want?
It was
the Drive to Survive hype. Drive to Survive hype is so real.
Yeah, I think it was like a combination of 3 years without the Grand Prix, so everyone was keen to get, or all the motorsport fans were keen to get back.
Yeah, it's clearly your rev.
The Drive to Survive brought up all the others.
There is definitely Drive to Survive crowd, and you can see that. But that's good. It's good for the sport, and yeah, it's just mind blowing how much that show has grown the sport, and I think it just. Now more and more sports are starting to follow suit, and I know golf has signed on for the PGA Tour for the same producers as Drive to Survive, so that's going to be good. And that's going to follow a few of the top guys around on tour and full access. So that'd be good. That's going to grow golf massively. Golf's thriving at the moment, but yeah, keep it coming. All sports. I know.
Let's get a darts one.
League's always wanted a darts one. Yeah, why not? That'd be good.
There's some characters in the darts, so that'll be interesting.
Absolutely. Darts and snooker. Get them both.
Yeah, I'm surprised the NRL haven't done one, because the AFL did one.
Well, AFL, NRL had that Tales of Tiger Town that followed pretty much like Michael Maguire and the Tigers last year, which was really popular. And I think I heard they're going to be following another team this year, but yeah, more of that stuff. People love that. I know a lot of people like Tigers. Everyone loves to hate the Tigers, but everyone secretly wants them to win. But but I know all my friends enjoy watching that, and all neutral friends. Oh, you Cronulla scum.
Nobody wants the Tigers to win, especially not this weekend.
Anyway.
Yeah, so this week we're sort of going to dig into some content that's beginning to get a bit of well-deserved recognition. Like when one of these shows came out, I didn't see much hype about it, and then the finale hit and everyone was like, watch this show, so we're going to do that. But looking back, I think this is going to be an episode that people need to pay attention to, because last time we did an episode like this, back in December 2020, we were hyping up Tom Hardy's Taboo. No one listened to us, and now that it's on Netflix, everyone's like, this show's incredible. I'm like, we told you.
The amount of people that have sent me Taboo or mentioned it to me, I'm like, yeah, I watched it a couple of years ago, and it was out a few years before that. Catch up. Yeah, it was on Netflix. Listen to the commentary booth, and you'll know.
Exactly.
I'm actually tempted to I'm flat out watching things, mate, but I'm actually tempted to rewatch it if I can. It was just so good.
Yeah, it keeps popping up on Netflix in my recommended, and I'm like, oh.
It's a good one, and maybe they've done it like to tie over fans of Peaky Blinders before that hits, because that got delayed again on Netflix. So maybe they've just drip fed that onto Netflix to hide the fact that Peaky Blinders keeps getting pushed back by months and months.
Oh, hopefully Peaky Blinders is soon. I'm almost caught up. I have a season to go.
Yeah, well, I think it's the finale. Did it just air last week in the UK on BBC?
I'm not sure yet, probably.
I'm pretty sure it's all out in the UK now. So, I don't know, July or June I heard on Netflix, but I also heard March. So
hopefully soon. I'll catch up. right in
Yeah.
time for the new. Once they announce an official date, I'll be like, okay, I've got to watch these 6 hours right before that.
Oh yeah, they'll be bumping up on the home screen. The algorithm will get involved, do its best work, as is tradition.
So yeah, we'll dive into the new topics.
Mm-hmm.
The show we were mentioning about sort of finally getting a bit of hype. Severance, the sci-fi psychological thriller directed by Ben Stiller on Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
What did you sort of think on an overall top level?
Incredible, but I'm only saying that after watching like the last 3 episodes. Honestly, I was really keen on it, and I was very interested in it as I was watching like episodes 1 through 6 or whatnot. Like it was just super cool concept, and I was like, this is mad, but it was sort of dragging on a bit without much real big bang happening in the show. But the last few episodes, which I actually watched the last 4 episodes last night, back to back, which I'm so glad I did, because each episode had a big cliffhanger. There's a lot of suspense. So I'm glad I didn't have to wait a week or wait like to watch them. So
I was the same. I was glad I
banged
waited till the full season was out, because
yeah, for sure.
it starts off pretty slow
been,
and just ramps up as it goes along.
Yeah, with no real cliffhangers in the first several episodes, but it's very interesting nonetheless. Like it's not I wouldn't say it's a slow burn, but just not a lot of huge stuff happening early on, but towards the end, which spoiler alert, season 2, very keen.
Yep. Yeah, so it's
I had no idea if it was going to be like just a 1 season banger early on watching it, because there was no real indication of what was happening. But I don't know if they were writing it as they were going and changing things, or if they already how long it's planned out originally.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time when someone's writing sort of these sort of thriller things that have lots of questions and intrigue, I think they sort of view them as let's write the story as
all the time.
Let's write the story as if we're going to get a second season, and
sure.
hope that sort of spurs the interest on and gets the network to renew them, which this obviously it has been renewed for a second season, so it is coming.
Yeah, I actually seen that pop up before I'd finished. I didn't really want to click on it and know too much about it, but being like 4 or 5 main characters too, you can sort of have that opportunity to write more. Just because I think one of the Dylan character, who was a personal favorite of mine too, might add, loved Dylan. I think they sort of drip fed him towards the end, and I think we're going to get a lot more about it. He's outie, as they call it.
Yep. So
whereas I think the last couple of episodes, the Adam Scott character, and the 2 others, we sort of got to know a bit about their outie lives. Whereas Dylan, we sort of got drip fed early on.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, sort of top level, the show follows an employee named Mark of Lumen Industries, agrees to the severance procedure so that his non-work memories are separated from his work memories, and basically he has an innie, which is his work memories, and an outie persona, and they have no idea of what each other is doing, or even like what their personality traits are. Like they're kind of separate people. The series is 9 episodes, about 45 to an hour each, and yeah, it feels like, because it is 9 episodes, it sort of feels like it's broken down into 3 chapters. Like if you watch those first 3 episodes in one sitting, then the next 3, and then the final 3, it sort of all builds up and crescendos at the very end.
And like I said, nothing really drags on. You don't really get sick of watching them, but they're good length episodes too, because any shorter you just I think that's where they went wrong with Servant, the short episodes. They're like 25-minute episodes, and
yeah, it feels very rushed at times.
They've got to be double that, and there's just too much to explain. There's too much dialogue, too much going on for short episodes, but they've really done well here.
Servant feels like rushed, or at times an episode happens and you're like,
I don't know.
Well, that didn't tell me anything, so what was the point?
Yeah, it's what the whole show is.
Whereas this one keeps you intrigued and interested every episode. You're like,
yeah,
okay, I learned something from this, and it's left some questions.
Yeah, what do you think of the Lumen Industries? The first thing I thought, like, this has got to be what it's like working for Apple.
I think that's kind of
that's the satire of it, eh? Like,
very
when they
like
pan out, like,
sterile
it's a
and
huge, yeah, very huge,
mysterious.
like, building, that sort of like the Apple building, and yeah, I think it's almost a bit of a piss take of Apple, I think, in a way.
Which is funny because it's on
But
Apple TV.
yeah, well, there you go. That's how
I was like,
two and two
that's
together.
interesting.
But then at the same time, it's like very, very modern and sci-fi in the fact that they have this little chip they insert into their brains and everything that's going on, the time machines or the elevator. But at the same time, they got like 1990s computers
Old
and
school
like early
computers.
technology, and almost like, remember Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, how it's like in the 60s, but it's their take of like the future. I felt that's a lot like this. It felt a lot like watching a modern Space Odyssey film.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was
of
very strange.
high tech future inventions, but with very basic technology, I guess. It was very well done though. Like, it wasn't like, it was just, it all blended perfectly, and they
Oh
put
yeah,
a lot
like
into a lot of
you
work went
can
into the
definitely sort of
branding, I
tell.
think, of Lumen. Everything, like, it's, yeah, they've put a lot of work into the backstory, and like, it's almost like Lumen's an actual company.
Yeah,
Just
it's
this
definitely not just
fictional,
a slap together show. There's a lot of production value in this product,
yeah.
like product.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that
mentioned Ben
work
Stiller,
office
the
space felt so
producer.
weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
I've never
so
really worked in
empty
that
and
environment, but I
bland. I was
reckon a lot
like,
of
this
people,
looks so strange.
and the work they're actually doing there is, it's almost like a
That's yeah,
word and
weird.
number puzzle.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know. It's like they're just sitting
refining.
there playing this super duper Wordle all day, and they have to
Yeah,
meet like a quota of cracking the code and the puzzles. It's very
yeah. What are they doing?
strange.
They're refining data, but the data is encoded into just sort of Sudoku esque number puzzles, and they have to find the
Yeah,
numbers that are
basically
scary
on
and
these
take out the scary
original.
numbers.
Recording stopped.
Oh, hang on. What are we doing? Why are you saying that to me? Stupid computer.
This wouldn't happen at Lumen.
Mm,
It probably
delete.
would, actually.
How do you not have disk space, you stupid thing?
What's happened?
It just told me I didn't have enough disk space to keep recording. I'm like, yes, I do. Don't lie to me. Hit record again.
Recording in progress.
There we go.
Yeah. What were we on?
Yeah, so like with the numbers, like they're refining data, but they've just got to like pick out the scary numbers and take those out. And I was like, this
So they're little.
weird.
So the core, the four main characters, they're, what would you call it? Their area of the business. They're what MDR they refer to, macro data refinement. Yeah. But
Yep.
then they sort of show other areas of this Apple bootleg sterile company, and Christopher Walken actually has a bit of a role in this, which is super cool. I think feel all his roles in every movie is just perfect, and they're just small, and he just fits the character so well.
Yep.
But his department, there's like 7 of those, and what do? They like just reframe old oil paintings. It's so strange.
I think they're
That
like
was weird.
creating the artwork that
And the
tells the
history of the
backstory
company. Yeah, it
of
tells
the
the
company
backstory
or
of the
something.
company. That's sort of what I picked up as well.
And like the rules and stuff of the company in art form as well. Like it was everything about it. And then there's a random room with just a dude feeding goats.
Yeah, but then they suggested that
what's going on?
when they had that end of quarter celebration party, they had these special like egg cocktails, and they're like, yeah, these are the eggs from the goats that guy grows. So it's
like,
very strange, the goings on.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the big questions. It's like, what is going on in this company?
Yeah,
like,
well,
what are they actually doing?
That's what the workers themselves. That's what the questions they ask in the show. Like, why are we doing this? Like, why? So that was always a big unknown too throughout the whole first season is like what the hell is actually going on.
Mhm.
And I didn't really start to wonder too much because there was so much going on. Like you didn't really stop and think. Like you didn't really care what was actually happening, and like
Yeah,
why it was
there was
happening because it
moments where I
was
was
just
just
so
like,
entertaining and so cool.
there's moments
So
where I
I
was like,
never
I want to
stopped.
know what this job is,
Yeah,
but I'm also
but I
like,
don't really
I'm
care
more
'cause
intrigued
that's-
about why are these memories sort of slowly leaching into each other and causing
Yeah, there's just so
mental
much going
breakdowns.
on. You didn't really stop to think, why is this happening? But I think we're going to get a lot of those answers in the next season. It should be good. And big old cliffhanger in the final episode.
Massive.
Oh, I was
In
on
the
the edge
first
of my seat.
episode, what did you think of the procedure to put the chip in?
Yeah, because they just drilled straight in the head, didn't they? And
Yeah, and like they
placed
showed it.
there.
It was I
Very
was like, whoa,
cringe.
wide awake. And then they show like the X-ray and show how deep in it's going. Like, holy cow!
Yeah, and
Like
they
you
sort
have
of
no
interview
nerve
the,
endings in your brain.
They sort of interview the outie and like put him on camera saying, I'm okay with this. This is okay. So for when the innie questions it,
Starts
and doesn't
questioning
want
it, yeah.
anymore, wants to quit. But there were a couple of the characters, like the bosses, I think they weren't severed, were they? But they had to act like they were.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Devon Hale, like she isn't severed, but she kind of acts like she is at the beginning, and then we sort of slowly start to realize that she's not, and she's kind of there just to monitor Mark in and out of the workplace.
I like the Milchick character, who was almost like the foreman or the supervisor, the security guard, the butler.
He was weird.
He was like the main contact for everyone. I really enjoyed his character.
Yep. Yeah, he was interesting. Like,
yeah, very interesting. I like that one. So we see a
what
lot
did
of
you
him.
think of the waffle party at the very end?
Oh yeah. That got real weird real quick. But I could have watched it for hours. I wasn't quite sure what was going on. Like
it starts off so bland, like, okay, he's just getting served a nice plate of waffles and then he gets to sleep in his house.
Then he gets to the end of the plate and it says go lay on the bed, and he looks up and he goes on the bed, and then there's like
the mask of the owner of
a paper mache mask of the founder of the company, and he puts that on. And then he gets like this sort of almost erotic lap dance performance one-on-one show with all these like women who also have these big paper mache masks on. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
It got so weird.
And he's got like his mysterious little box of his gift,
that
which they never really showed. And
we still don't know what's in that box.
What the hell is in this? I had no idea. And we do know what's in the box, but at this stage we didn't.
Oh, was it
he put out the little glass group photo? Yeah, the crystal group photo with the light. Which wasn't really much explained about that. Yeah, but then he quickly sneaks out the side of the house during this like erotic dance, and he's back in like the sterile Apple building walkways again.
Yeah.
I
was like, I'm all in for a waffle party if I just get a serving of waffles, and then it got hectic. I was like, okay, I don't want a waffle party anymore.
It doesn't really make sense. There's Ben Stiller's got his hands all over this, and I'm just so impressed by that.
Oh yeah, Ben Stiller directing. When I heard that, I was like, oh, this could be a more comedy leaning show. Yeah. And then as I started watching, I was like, this isn't comedy.
I wouldn't say it's comedy; it's humorous.
Yeah, there's definitely moments where you chuckle, but a lot of the time you're just like, what is happening in this show? This is creepy and strange.
It's brilliant. It's so brilliant. Yeah, very entertaining, and just super weird. And you think you're seeing it all, and yeah.
Without giving away like huge spoilers, that last 10 minutes, that flips the whole show on its head.
Everything makes sense. It almost makes me, especially what they explain about the heli character.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you want to go back to episode 1 and start watching again, knowing what you know.
Yep. And why
there's
the
so
outie refuses to quit and stuff like that.
Exactly. And like why it was such a big deal when, spoiler alert, she tried to kill herself.
Yeah, that was pretty intense, wasn't it?
That's
That was-
wild, man. Wild. Can't believe they showed all that.
They
There's some
full on
confronting
showed
scenes. They
that.
do give warnings at the start of those episodes, though, for that sort
Yep.
of stuff.
Yeah,
Which
even
I
when
think
it's
are
just
very on
like,
brand for Apple.
even when it's just like a previously on flash of that moment, they're like, yeah, just be careful. This
Yeah.
scene is going to pop up again.
So yeah, the heli character, that was a bit of a ride, but what I enjoyed most about that final episode was they show who the Adam Scott character, Mark, his wife who died, who passed away. They show that was what interested me the most. That was the bit of storyline that interests me the most. And that's another one you can go back and watch from early on, because spoiler alert, his wife is the therapist.
Yeah, their interactions take a whole different meaning.
And they sort of kept getting on the brink and sort of kept drip feeding that his outie was going to be shown, his innie on the outside was going to get shown a photo of his wife, and they sort of kept teasing that. And at the same time, Dylan's like holding on to the what do they call it? The overtime something machine that allows the outies to be in their innies bodies on the outside.
It's like the overtime contingency or something.
Yeah. And he's sort of just letting go, and they're sort of just about to show the photo, and I was like, oh, this is so good. And at the same time, like Helly's about to go on stage, and what's his name? Irving is about to go up to Bert's house. There's another one that was a weird little weird adaptation, the sort of love affair between the Christopher Walken character and who plays Irving.
Irving is John Turturro.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And that was interesting, wasn't it?
Very.
Like, are these two closet gay lovers, or are they just very interested in each other as friends and professionals?
It had me questioning at the beginning, like,
but they
are these two actually like dating outside and they don't know?
Oh, see, I don't know.
And that's why they're not supposed to cross paths, but then they cross paths and they fall in love, and then you get the spoiler of
sort of
they're not together.
That department wasn't allowed to. The MDR department wasn't allowed to go down to that sort of photo department, but he just kept wanting to go down there.
Yeah, it's
another sort of. Also, I noticed Irving, he and his outie, all he did was paint those horrific paintings over and over again, which was very interesting considering he always gravitated down to the painting department as well.
And that hallway is the
he was subconscious. He was painting the hallway.
The hallway to the break room.
Yeah,
that's what he kept painting, and I was like, this is full on, like, why is his outie
like a hole?
Why does his outie have the compulsion to constantly paint that though?
Yeah, so
which is where I was getting the like
subconscious thoughts happening.
Yeah, these memories are sort of slipping and merging into each other, and it's causing all the characters these weird.
A lot of choose your own adventure going on.
And why did he have a list of severed employees as well? Like, he had a list of all the employees. I was like, what is going on here?
And they had their names on the map, right? And Bert's name, the Christopher Walken character, his lover name was already written on the map. That was interesting. In the bottom of that chest with his father's like Navy outfit.
Yeah, I was like,
a lot of stuff like that sort of goes unexplained, but at the same time, it could be just choose your own adventure and is what it is.
Yeah, it made me sort of think maybe he's supposed to be like a spy.
Like it was all meant to
work out what's going on, or lots of questions.
Also, I enjoyed Motorhead Ace of Spades being played when Irving was doing those
when he's painting
hallway paintings. That was brilliant. So there's a lot of cheeky little soundtrack.
Old bloke splashing black paint on the wall, and then like when he's the innie, he gets the flashbacks of the like black goo. And at the beginning, you're like, I have no idea what that is. And then at the end, you're like, oh, it's paint.
Yeah, it's like black tar or paint coming down and dripping on him in the office. So that's like his it's almost like there's a glitch in his little Severance chip.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's when he sort of starts to like fall asleep, his like brain starts dreaming, and it's his
Jumpman. Yeah.
outer life. Yeah,
I
there's
didn't pick
all
that one
sorts
up
of
either.
weird stuff going on for those blokes. Very
But
excited for season 2. Don't know when we'll get it. But
I
I'm
did
excited
like
for
how
it.
the end of season 1 they started to show a lot more about the outie lives. That was cool.
Yep.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
season 2 has to be them explaining everything a bit more.
I think it's going to be
answering
more
some questions.
80% outie life and 20% innie life. So you'll probably see a lot less of Lumen, I think, in season 2.
Yep, and we'll get more explanation on what they're doing.
Very
what
exciting.
The motivations for everyone.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, that was
again, Apple TV killing it with these sort of shows.
I'm sick of repeating myself, Jamie. These people need to just be on Apple TV. It's the best. The best.
Yeah, they don't put out a lot of stuff, but everything they have put out is like
killer, bro.
Top-notch quality. They're not.
Don't get me wrong.
Rubbish.
There
has been a couple of duds, but
there have been some duds, but all in all, it's brilliant.
Yeah, the majority of stuff they put out is incredible. And now a quick word from our sponsors. First up is Decorate and Dance. For them, life is a party. With the world reopening and parties now becoming much more viable, if you're hosting a party, then all of the ingredients you need for a good time start with the 3 Ds. Design, decorate, and dance. You can't have a party without a theme, design, balloons, florals, and decorations, and some good tunes, dancing. The team over at Decorate and Dance can provide it all. Specializing in kids' parties, adult parties, hens nights, baby showers, corporate events, and weddings, Decorate and Dance are your one-stop shop. Book a designer, decorations, and a DJ for your party to be remembered at www.decorateanddance.com.au. Next up is LF9 Designs. Are you in need of a new logo, event posters, Twitch overlays or emotes, or perhaps even merchandise designs? Look no further than LF9 Design for all of your graphic design needs. The team at LF9 Design can create anything that you need to suit all styles. Check them out on Instagram at LF9 Design. Maison de Femmes create romantic, handmade, gold-filled jewelry for lovers and dreamers. Each piece is handmade and personally shipped by Jess Kumanovsky of Australia. If you are looking for an amazing and unique piece for a loved one, then look no further than Maison de Femmes. Maison de Femmes can be found online at maisondefemmes.com. That's MaisonDefemmes.com. And finally, Tegan Tag Photography. If you're ready for something a little different, ready to stray from the path of a traditional photo session, then get in touch with Tegan Tag Photography. Tegan specializes in water photography, family photo sessions, maternity shoots, and any type of photography incorporating Mother Nature. Bookings with Tegan can be made online at tegantag.com.au. That's www.tegantagg.com.au. Speaking of duds, though, Amazon's latest movie, Deep Water, with who was it? Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas as the lead characters. I was so disappointed in this movie.
At the time, they were dating in real life too. At the time of filming, Did you know that? I don't know. I had a lot of high hopes for this for some reason. I don't know. Was the trailer very good? I don't know.
Yes, the trailer was awesome and made me question a lot. And I thought they were like in an affair and he killed his wife to be in this relationship.
Yeah,
and then I watched the movie and I was like,
big Gone Girl vibes early. That's what I was sort of expecting.
Yeah. I think that's what the aim was, to be like Gone Girl, but it just doesn't hit anywhere near. So this
movie was actually, it's based on a novel in from the 50s, I think. And I think the movie got made from the novel in the 80s, and this is sort of just its own modern take. But from what I've gathered and read about the novel, I think that's just the movie in modern times is the original story is too outdated and it just doesn't really add up in modern times.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just wasn't practical to make that movie in the 2020s. So yeah, basically what Ben Affleck plays is husband of a cheating wife, but he lets her get away with it just to avoid separation and for the family.
Yeah, like they're obviously in like an open relationship. She's allowed to have boyfriends.
Yeah.
So that, and he's just along for the ride so that they don't have to divorce, but then he becomes
Yeah,
the prime suspect in the disappearance of all of her previous lovers.
Mm-hmm. Then I think
Yeah.
the first one, they sort of disappeared. He starts jokingly with a suspect, jokingly telling everyone that he murdered him. And everyone's like, oh, shut up. Like, that's a bit touchy, a bit sensitive. And he's like, yeah, well, I did it. Then it just sort of becomes
everyone's
a bit spooky.
everyone's kind of like, oh, you wouldn't say that if you actually did it. So it's clearly, you clearly didn't do it.
Oh, and he's like, yeah, well, I did it. Then a couple others go missing, and then they sort of point the finger, I guess, and start bringing him in for questioning. But I don't know, there just wasn't enough backstory of either the characters, or there wasn't
and
enough
the ending,
explained.
it just ended. I was like, oh,
yeah,
there's no real resolution.
You know what the ending reminded me of? Like the end of an episode, if this was a TV show and we're going to get another episode.
Yeah,
Definitely
I watched an hour and a half,
ending,
and then I was just
strange.
kind of like, oh, I need part 2. It was weird.
Yeah, I wasn't satisfied at all with the ending, and
then that left a sour taste in my mouth for the entire movie.
Yeah, there was just no.
I was enjoying it,
connection.
and then I was like, okay, we need to build up and get to some answers.
There was no real backstory, no real connection
nothing
established early on for any of the characters, so I couldn't really. I didn't understand what was going on. They didn't say why he had money or why.
They do, like, real briefly about halfway through.
Yeah.
He developed some drone system and
yeah.
got paid a fortune by the government, and was like, oh, okay. And then that's it.
But I think you naturally gravitate and start off feeling sorry for this Ben Affleck character, because his very good looking wife just mucks around in front of him at parties with other blokes, and he's sort of seemingly okay with it.
Yeah, like the first couple of times you're like, he doesn't know about this. This is messed up.
Yeah.
But then they show him looking out the window at her kissing this guy, and you're like,
and she invites them over for like family dinner with them, which is just strange. And he's like,
what is going on
also
here?
Okay with that. I'm like, yeah, what's the dynamic here? Like, maybe like they're together, but he can't give her what she wants, like in bed, for whatever reason. So he's like, all right, you can go out and muck around, but at the end of the day, you have to come home to me. Or,
it was weird. It was like an open relationship, open marriage, but then there was also like weird moments of like jealousy as well, where I was like,
jealousy to the point where he murders all these men.
Yeah, and he's like scoping them out and stuff without her knowing. I was like, this is weird. But then in the car ride back from one of the dates that she goes on, it's like they get off on knowing that she's with other guys. It was like,
yeah, it was like a bit of a fetish for him.
It was very weird. And
yeah, like you said,
and then he kills the boyfriend in the pool.
Rushed.
That was kind of
that was cool. I like that that was a cool sequence. That was like the first bit of, I guess, heart rush or whatever in the, like it was a bit happening. And you're like, oh, this is cool, and you act like you're actually wondering what was going on. So
I like that he
that man you mentioned who drowned, Jacob Elordi, Australian hero from Euphoria fame.
I loved that, like, the Ben Affleck character murders this bloke in the pool and then goes inside where everyone else already is and intentionally like grabs the hot cookie sheet out of the oven so that he gets burnt, and then like that's a moment where everyone's like, no, he was in here all the time.
Yeah, I actually didn't know.
Because it's like a weird moment where like that wouldn't normally happen, but because it happens, it's something that sticks in people's memories. So that then when the police come, they're like, oh no, he was in here the whole time when he burned his hand. And then he has the proof, I burnt my hand.
Like, it was so obvious that happened, but you're still like, oh no, you completely rule out that fact that he could have done it.
Yeah, because it's like everyone knows that a baking sheet is going to be hot. They're not going to pull it out of the oven without gloves on, and he just does it. And it's like, okay, he's doing that for a reason. And then, then the movie goes further and further, and when he kills him, you're like, oh, she doesn't know that he's doing this, and she just thinks her boyfriends are disappearing or leaving. Yeah. But then you come to know that she kind of does know and is kind of okay with it and kind of enjoys it. Like, it was just everything about this relationship and this movie was
She at the same
off.
time she had her favorites. I think she was really attached to the younger guy, the Jacob Elordi, who Vic Ben Affleck drowns.
Yeah,
So,
it was just like I had such high hopes for it when I saw this trailer.
yeah, I
and
think
then
a lot of people, from what I've seen, like pop up, everyone's disappointed with it. Everyone's got the same opinion.
and I think the ending is the big issue. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's any resolution. It just feels so unfinished, and
It
then
made
that tarnishes the rest of the
It
movie.
was rushed for starters, and they that's what exactly. It just made the whole movie seem meaningless.
Yeah, and like the whole way through the movie as well, they're teasing like his snail collection stuff, and then, like, they talk about how they're someone talks about how they're poisonous or something. When they're talking about eating snails, and like if you eat them raw, they'll kill you. And I was like, okay, they're teasing. At some point, someone's getting fed raw snails.
Yeah, so
and that's going to be how this relationship ends. And then nothing happens with the snails.
Yeah, because they
she finds the first boyfriend's passport in the snail den, and that's it. And I was like, that was the whole reason for teasing us about snails the whole time.
Yeah,
someone needed to be poisoned with snails for me to be happy with this movie.
Fair what else? I need to know more about these stupid ass snails, to be honest with you, because they make a point of it several times that he collects snails.
Yeah,
like as pets or scientific, but then nothing happens with it. Honestly, it was a short film, wasn't it? It was like an hour and a half, 100 minutes. It wasn't
hour 40 or something.
Wasn't long. It should have been 2 hours 20 at least. And I reckon they've cut so much out of this for whatever reason. And like, it's supposed to be like an erotic thriller, but it's sort of didn't live up to the ratings. I don't think it was rated R and had all these warnings in it, but I reckon they've cut heaps of out of it. Would have had to.
Yeah. I was glad I didn't go to a movie cinema to watch it. I was glad it was just on a 100%. Streaming service, because I'd have been so annoyed if I paid for it.
Yeah, it was. I'm not mad. I wasn't. It was entertaining. It wasn't like shit to watch, but at the end, you're like, oh, that was a bit average.
This is bloody 2 weeks in a row where I've watched something and just been angry after watching them.
God damn it, I hate that. Pull your weight.
Watch this, and it annoyed the crap out of me. And then last week I watched Underbelly Vanishing Act, and that like infuriated me.
Bro, that did not need to be 2 episodes long. Let me tell you.
That did not need to exist at all.
It was entertaining though. I actually enjoyed it, but it was crap.
The last like 15 minutes just pissed me off.
Horrendous, bro.
When they were just like, oh yeah, none of that existed.
The whole thing didn't exist. There was like an episode. It was 2 episodes. It was a 2-part series, and an episode and a half didn't need to exist.
Yeah, and they were like, oh yeah, that guy didn't exist at all. Like, what?
Yeah. Oh my god. But it was typical Underbelly though. Yeah. They're true to their style. But yeah, not
fingers
great
crossed.
Underbelly legacy.
Fingers crossed. My next 2 episodes on the podcast improve. I've got The Northman coming up next week.
And I've heard great things.
Doctor Strange the following week.
Yeah. The Northman,
fingers crossed.
I've heard great things. That's I can't see that being crap. I know I've said that before, but I'll be shocked. Looks very good. So
we'll find out shortly. In terms of
this episode has definitely been saved for Severance. Severance was outstanding.
Yeah, definitely. Wrong button. So
there we go.
In terms of this episode, what would be your top recommendations for the week?
It's a no-brainer. You'd have to watch Severance.
100%. If you haven't watched it already, watch it now. Get prepared for season 2.
Yeah, it was outstanding.
I think, like I said, watch it in 3 parts, at least.
Yeah, it's 3-6.
Try to watch 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. Yeah, and that would fit. But I think, the last 3 episodes were banging, and you're not going to want to watch those last 3 episodes one at a time. You don't just think you got an hour before work or an hour before bed and you watch a quick episode. It's not going to happen. You're going to be going to bed at midnight because you've finished it.
If you watch episode 7, you're watching 8 and 9 immediately.
100%. That's exactly
not pausing.
what I did last night. Yeah, it was outstanding. Yeah, big fan.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z. And you can follow me on social media at JamyUps Media and at Pario Magazine. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/JamieAppsMedia. The following people supported at the community support group level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Blake Robinson, Rena Renee, Courtney Paulson, Darren Hatcliffe, Jackson Carr, and Tracy Apps.